What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Diction. Welcome back to another COD mobile video. So today I kind of want to address something that has kind of been irking me for a while because I know a lot of you guys have mixed opinions about this, but I do want to, I guess, further expand on my thoughts when it comes to the sniping situation in COD Mobile. The reason why I wanted to make this video was because I understand that a lot of you guys in the comment section do kind of agree with what I have to say about the sniping situation here, but there are some of you guys out there that still kind of disagree. But I wanted to make this video just to give those that don't really understand my take a little bit more understanding. So I'm sure most of you guys have been around my channel for a long time, and whenever I usually review a sniper rifle, I normally don't have a lot of good opinions because, at least in my mind, I'm thinking like, shit, this is going to be some other overpowered thing that a lot of people are going to be abusing. That's usually how I kind of go into these reviews when it comes to sniper rifles. Also because historically speaking with COD Mobile, every sniper that's come out so far has just been extremely problematic. At least as of like the last 2 years. The HDR I'm a little bit iffy about because I know they just added that buff where it just makes it one shot from anywhere, but again, I'm not really seeing a lot of people use it. But when it comes to like the Koshka, the LW3 Tundra, and even now the 3-line rifle, yeah, I have a lot of negative things to say because I think they're a little bit overbalanced. They're too overpowered. And it's not just snipers where I say this about. I said the VMP was going to be a very powerful weapon. I said the USS-9 was going to be overpowered. Snipers are not the only weapons I would consider to just break the game. But the difference is with sniper rifles, it's usually a guarantee that they're going to be an issue. With assault rifles or SMGs or even LMGs that come out, they're less, they're a lot more iffy. There will be some SMGs, there'll be some assault rifles that get released like the Vargo that are not so good. But yeah, sometimes they will have overpowered weapons that come out, such as the USS-9 or even the VMP. The thing is that with snipers, I will say this. I mean, they do come out rarely. They don't often come out every other season. They're not like SMGs or ARs. But when they do, it becomes an issue, and not really with BR, because maybe that's probably a reason why some people might misunderstand me. But when I'm talking about sniping usage, I'm mainly talking about like search and destroy ranked, or maybe even search and destroy casuals, and sometimes even just TDM or hardpoint. And look, I will say this right now about snipers, I have no problem with the damage values that they currently have. I think the snipers in terms of damage are okay. The only problem I've ever had with snipers, and this has been going on since basically COD Mobile has come out, is just simply the mobility. Even for a fast-paced game as COD Mobile is, I don't really think the snipers should be as fast as they are right now. So fast to the point where, let's say, like you could literally just fast switch around the corner and just easily boop someone like it's nothing, And don't tell me that this is some sort of skill issue. That's something easily avoidable. Even the bestest of the best of players will not be able to avoid it all the time. Even if you have like the movement of a god where you're just sliding around all over the place, yes, it may be a tiny bit harder to actually hit you, but trust me, it's not. And that's really just the issue. The sniping is way too fast. It's faster than, like, I would say, like the lightest fucking pistol. And that's something that shouldn't happen. And that's the thing too, because, using snipers here in this game compared to, I don't know, Black Ops 6 or any current Call of Duty game that's like, mainline, you would not be able to get away with any of that stuff that you do here. There's no overly fast ADS speed, maybe with like an exception of few. I think in Modern Warfare 3, they had this AK looking, I forgot what it was called. I think it was like the longbow or something like that, where, yeah, like it aimed very fast, but at the same time, like the one-shot area was very small. They had like those types of things in place where, yes, you have speed, but you better be careful with that speed. But here, for basically any sniper, so long as you shoot anywhere that's not the legs, you're going to get a one-shot. And that's not really that hard to achieve. In fact, you could be the most retarded player on the planet and still do pretty well with a sniper, specifically in search and destroy, which is something I do need to discuss, which is, of course, certain scenarios when you are dealing against an enemy sniper. There were people in the comments telling me that, like, yes, there will be times where they see me not perform that well. Let's say if I'm playing hardpoint or if I'm playing TDM. And that does make a little bit of sense, especially like if you're in shipment where you're dealing with like multiple targets at the same time. So you just can't, you're human. You can't take everyone out all at once. It's not possible. Everyone's going to struggle no matter how good they are. But in situations such as search and destroy, where, everyone has just one life every round and there's no way to come back, that's where it becomes a problem, because you could either use snipers for holding angles without any like repercussions. If let's say you run out of breath and like you're like the idle sway starts, kind of getting to you, you could just reset the aim and it's not that bad. But then also there's situations where the player could just be fast switching around the map, easily just quick scoping you around the corner without any effort. I think that's where the true balance issue comes out. Again, it kind of comes back to this whole mobility issue. And this is something that I experienced a lot whenever I played Search and Destroy ranked with my friends. It's impossible to do well without a sniper. You could ask anyone that I play with, and they'll basically tell you the same thing, that like my performance goes way up when I switch to a sniper and Search and Destroy, because the chances of survival are so much higher, because you could just easily one-shot someone without any issues. And you're at an even bigger advantage when you're going against someone that's just using a normal weapon, because they have to shoot you multiple times while you could just instantly aim in and just fire once and boom, that's it. You killed them. And then for people that are extra daring, they could always equip fast switch with amped and then end up like just using their sniper rifles, bolt action, might I add, as semi-autos. So yes, like if you're going to tell me that snipers are not a balance issue, they definitely fucking are. Like, I want you to tell me, all of you guys that have played Search and Destroy ranked, I want you to tell me, let's say you've switched to a sniper rifle at one point. Let's say because you're getting frustrated and you won because of it. How many of you can honestly say you would have won that match had you not switched to that sniper? Maybe luck, but at the same time, snipers do fucking help. And there's no counter argument to this. This is the truth. This is the fucking flat out fucking truth. This might sound arrogant for me to say, but I think the people that disagree with me on this, because it's such a clear and cut thing, this is something that anyone could agree with. It's like you're saying that like 2 + 2 = 4, and there's people that are disagreeing with you. It's so stupid. I think people that kind of disagree in the most arrogant way, saying like it's a skill issue, are the ones that are afraid that if it ever comes to a time where snipers do get nerfed and like their ADS speed starts to slow down a lot more, like they know they're going to struggle in Search and Destroy, because now they don't have that as a good option. It kind of reminds me of like when I said that the USS-9 needed to be nerfed, or like I think it was like the video where I said like I don't like playing ranked because the over reliance on meta is something that I just do not like. And then a lot of people were saying that it's a skill issue, but like again, I ask you, what's really a skill issue? Like you using just a normal weapon to win the game, or you having to rely on something overpowered to win? Like really, who's the one with the skill issue? Something that I do mention whenever I talk about balancing in COD Mobile is the combat record. We don't really have like massive combat records in this game. If anything, we only get to see what our KD is. But there's a reason why combat records were removed at some point in, the history of Call of Duty. I think it might have been like Black Ops 4, maybe World War II, or even Infinite Warfare, where combat records started to like disappear. So basically what the combat records did, other than just show your KD, was basically showed your most used weapon. And I'm not talking about just like in ranked modes. I'm literally talking about your most used weapon in general, like no matter what mode you played. Just speculation, but I highly think that this is the answer. The combat records, at least when it showed you the most used weapons that you had, were removed probably because of the amount of fucking bullying. Think of it this way. It's 2015, you're playing Black Ops 3. And let's say you have a 1.8 KD. Your most used weapon is, I don't know, the ICR-1. The ICR wasn't really that great in that game. It was actually one of the worst assault rifles until like a later update. But anyways. And then you come across this one player that just absolutely destroyed you in that match. And then, you're back in the lobby, and you decide to check his combat records. You see he has like a 3.2 KD, which was actually very above average at that time. And then you go down to see like his most used weapon, and it shows a VMP, which was actually the overpowered weapon of that game, by the way. And then you start thinking to yourself, well, he only has that KD because he's only ever relied on that one weapon. Like, let's say he could have I think he even told you how many kills you had. So you could have like 100,000 kills with a VMP, and then you would have like 5,000 with like a I don't know, like a Kuda, like the MP5 of that game. So the credibility of skills within each player would get discredited simply because of the over reliance of meta weapons, which honestly I would say is a fair statement. I mean, yeah, like if you're someone that relies on something that's easy, or if you always take the easy path forward, your efforts are not going to hold that much credibility against someone that has poured a lot more effort in by, going the harder route. But ask yourself this: had they not been using that weapon the entire life cycle of a game, or even in COD Mobile, where do you think they would be right now? They would be getting shit on all the fucking time. So that's why they use it, because they rely on it. They have to do that to do well. And in ranked situations, I understand. I do understand that. Yeah, you have to stick to the meta because everyone's doing it. So might as well play dirty with everyone else. But with snipers, I think it's a different thing, because now it's like at that point there's nothing you could do to counter it. Yes, the USS 9 probably can counter it a bit, but it's not going to be as the same as if you were using the sniper against the same guy that's using a sniper against you, if that makes any sense. So let me teach you guys a little history lesson, because some of you guys, I understand my audience is kind of young. I would say some of them are like, teenagers. So they probably didn't play Black Ops 2. They were probably like, toddlers at that point. But in Black Ops 2, as popular as it was also very hated because of one thing, which were the sniper rifles. In that game, I think the Ballista and the DSR were like the two main sniper rifles that everyone used. And yes, sniping was popular in that game, but at the same time, it was also hated because it was just way too easy to abuse. And if you were someone that was using, let's say, the AN-94 or maybe the Scar H, you would still really not have a chance against snipers. Even if you pre-fired the corner and you were just fully ready to kill them, there were times where that would not even work. That's how overpowered the snipers were at the time. And just so you know, the mentality of these people that want the snipers to stay overpowered did some pretty crazy shit. And I would probably assume that if snipers ever got nerfed to a massive amount in this game, the same thing would happen. So basically what happened back in 2012 was David Vonderhaar, the guy, I think he was like the lead developer of Black Ops 2 or just any Treyarch Call of Duty. He decided to release a patch that nerfed one of the snipers, the DSR. Apparently the DSR was extremely fast. I haven't really seen any pre-patch clips of it, but from what I heard, it was like the most overpowered sniper in that game at that time. And then he patched it, having it nerfed, and dude, this guy got sent so many death threats because of that. And look, developers are not strangers to death threats. If they make a change that players, I mean, specifically multiplayer games, if they make a change that players do not like, they're probably going to receive a lot of hateful messages on their decision. And I think that guy who made that Modern Warfare game, the one that like implemented all these doors, I forgot what his name was, but like he had to disable his Twitter because there were just constant people bullying him in Modern Warfare 2, and like the whole skill-based thing was still a controversial issue at that time. So yeah, devs are not strangers to death threats, is basically what I'm trying to say. But it was actually kind of crazy to think about, because I feel like now, if the devs did the same thing here, where if they made the snipers extremely slow, like let's say, for example, the max speed of an HDR would be the default max speed of, like, let's say the Outlaw. Like, I would often wonder whether or not the same devs, like from Timmy Studios, would actually get death threats for what they did. My theory has been for snipers, at least in terms of the balancing logic, is maybe that they don't want to nerf them too hard because it might drive away some people in the player base, which I could understand. But again, the easiest thing to mitigate this issue, if they don't want to change anything, is to obviously just go on with the restrictions thing. I think earlier in this year, there were like a lot of leaks of some sort of restriction list coming to ranked, but that just never happened. I'm not sure if maybe the season 7 update will provide that. I'm not even sure if like the World Series tournament or whatever's going on in COD Mobile competitively, I don't know if they have any sort of restrictions. They probably do, but yeah, I mean, just make some sort of restrictive list for, certain modes in ranked, like in search and destroy. Like, have it so, yes, you could use snipers, but you can't use any fast attachments, or you can't use fast switch or anything to make your sniper way too overpowered, Like, I wouldn't mind something like that, but again, like my core issues with the snipers is just with the movement speed. I just think that they're too fast. That's it. I don't care about the damage. I don't care about anything else. Just slow down the speed. That's all we're saying. That's all I'm saying. Flinch could also be increased. I mean, that's like kind of like a minor issue that I have. I mean, even if you don't have toughness, snipers don't really flinch, but that's not really much of an issue for me. But yeah, I think just slowing it down will be enough. I mean, for all the snipers. If anything, the one-shot bolt action rifles that should be fast are the marksman rifles, you know, like the Kilo bolt action, the SPR, the MK2. Those are the ones that should be light, but they shouldn't be heavier than the sniper rifles. And for a while, for like, I think like 2 years ago, the Kilo was way slower than most sniper rifles. So yeah, adjusting the ADS speed would probably be a good idea. And I mean, I think when Path was still around, like the original Path, not the people that take over his channel, but when Path was still around, he even agreed at the time like snipers were extremely overpowered. This was like around year 2, right? Like when snipers were first being like abused in ranked, you know, the Locust, DLQ. It's like when Diamond first came out, everyone was trying to get Diamond on all their snipers, which was kind of a hellish thing, to be honest, because I was kind of grinding out diamond guns in shipment 1944, and like I was literally getting laid out by players that just started their profile, like they were like level 10, and they'll just be spamming like an Arctic 50 with stopping power like it was nothing. Like if a beginner could just effectively use a sniper with no effort, like what does that tell you about the balance? But yeah, back in the day, the DLQ, the Locust, the Outlaw used to be extremely fast sniper rifles, and people actually had a problem with them. But I don't understand now why that's such a controversial statement to say that snipers were overpowered. People that still play this game to this day agreed years ago. So again, I don't know why that's an issue now. But yeah, that's my whole entire take on the sniper situation, to slow them down. That's all I want. But yeah, anyways, make sure to leave a like. Thank you guys so much for watching, all that good jazz, and I'll see you guys next time.